All right, let's go. Starting another news roundup on the channel with more information from the Washington Commanders. Another quick, objective, and very up-to-date video about the Commanders. If you're new, subscribe. There are daily videos on the channel and you'll stay super well informed. Give it a thumbs up when you watch the video. It really helps, strengthens the channel, and motivates me to keep going. Here's the update, folks. With a salary cap hole of over $40 million, the Vikings have informed veteran Javon Hargrave that he will be released by March 11th unless a miraculous trade happens. Our new defensive coordinator comes from the Vikings. He knows exactly how to use Hargrave and understands the value the veteran brings to the locker room. Hargrave, at 33, is still a powerhouse. In 2025, he recorded 31 pressures and 3.5 sacks. Imagine this guy teaching the shortcuts to our phenomenon Johnny Newton. It's the perfect passing of the baton. Since he will be cut due to salary issues, Washington wouldn't need to give up any of its 6 draft picks. It would be a surgical signing to rotate the line with Darren Payne and Javon Kinlaw. Darren Jones is bringing a much more aggressive scheme from Minnesota and the Brian Flores school, with more blitzes and constant pressure. The problem? In 2025, our depth on the inside line was non-existent. Payne and Newton were overloaded. Bringing Hargrave isn't just about his sacks, it's about having someone who wins individual duels and frees up space for our linebackers to attack. It's the kind of low-risk, high-impact signing that Adam Peters loves to make. Washington's defense was the worst in several statistical categories in 2025. Hargrave is the first step in changing that culture. I want to know from you, would you prefer the Commanders to spend a draft pick on a young defensive tackle, or would you prefer to bring in veteran Javon Hargrave on a short-term contract to lead these youngsters in 2026? Dude, your opinion is what matters. Type it below in the comments section. Changing the subject, next, our offensive line for 2026 already has 3 pillars: Laramie Tunsil, Josh Connerly Jr., and the monster Sam Cosmi. But the left side of the middle of the line has become a question mark with Chris Paul's free agency. The former 7th-round pick silenced many critics in 2025. He started 15 games and played 88% of the snaps. He had the 5th lowest pressure allowed rate among all NFL left guards, only 3.18%. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN highlighted Paul as one of the free agents who will make a lot of money because they play with a physical and powerful style. SpotTrack has already projected Chris Paul should seek a 2-year, $9.4 million contract. For a guy who came from the 7th round, that's a gigantic leap. The dilemma for Adam Peters is re-sign Paul, who already knows Jaden Daniels and has proven himself an elite pass protection player, or use some of our $70 million in cap space to pursue an even more dominant name in the running game. Remember that cutting Tyler Bados already left a hole at center. Losing the starting left guard in the same month could be dangerous for the line's chemistry. Fowler was categorical. In today's NFL, starting guards who have a firm hand are well paid. Chris Paul isn't just a backup who filled in. He's become a legitimate starter. If Washington messes up and doesn't close the renewal before March 11th, teams like the Giants or Bears could hijack the negotiation and take our protector. Maintaining continuity on the offensive line is the secret to the success of any young quarterback. Chris Paul has proven he deserves to be here. Do you think Chris Paul is worth those $4.7 million a year, or would you prefer to let him test the market and look for a more experienced left guard in free agency? Comment your opinion, that's what matters. Let's talk in the comments section. Now, to wrap up today's updates, Bados was a monster in Washington. In 2025, he started 16 games, allowed only 3 sacks, and had a 70.7 PFF rating. He was the definition of reliability. Look at the math behind this release. Dead money, $8.1 million. Savings on the cap,
only $2.88 million. Real loss? Washington is losing $5.22 million in salary cap space just to not have Bados on the roster. It wasn't due to performance, it wasn't due to injury, and it definitely wasn't to save money. So why the hell did they do it? The answer isn't in the accountant's spreadsheet, but on the clipboard of the new coordinators. With the arrival of David Blau and Durante Jones, Washington's philosophy changed 180 degrees. Blau is abandoning Cliff Kingsbury's system. He demands a center with a level of athleticism and lateral movement that Bados, despite being technically skilled, doesn't possess for the new blocking scheme. Durante Jones brought an aggressive mentality from Minnesota, and the front office decided they needed a complete overhaul on the front line to protect Jaden Daniels in the new system. As Adam Peters said at the Combine, it's about keeping the contract within the parameters of the correct value. In other words, for them, the value of having a center who perfectly fits what Blau wants is worth more than the $5 million they threw away. This is the most controversial and risky decision of the Adam Peters era. They burned money to clear the ground for a new starter. Do you agree to pay $5 million to get rid of a solid starter just to clear the payroll for the new scheme? Or do you think Adam Peters went too far with this? Write your opinion on this below this video. Next, friends, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell, because this renewal could happen at any moment, and I'll bring you updates here. We're in this together. Thanks for everything, and let's go, Commanders!